Welcome back to Hood Fishing, everybody. I'm gonna cruise around my local bayou this morning, doing a bit of a crawl, looking for bass. It is just before 6 a.m. right now. I feel like barely before it, like maybe just a couple of minutes. Sunrise is not for another 20 something minutes, so it's a good time to get out here and do this. Plus there is very little wind. Later on will be different. That's why I'm fishing this morning. It's going to get up to about 14 miles per hour, somewhat like that. Later, blah 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 blah. Yeah, come on. The way people do fences these days, huh? Just walk around. I'm going to try out some new baits that I got the other day, but to start, we're going to go with what I already have on. We're just kind of killing a bit of time up here before we do our crawl. Let some light happen, you know. This is a watermelon Kraken craw on a 3/0. We're going to throw it weightless. Wind is about up at 7 right now. So I guess here at this point, I'm going to focus on points, ambush points. You look across the way, you see that little bit of a outcropping of the rocks, and there's a point. So it's real shallow right up in there. So all along here, along from bang, the edge of that concrete to that outcropping, about maybe 2 to 3 feet out, or just saw that bait. That's a good place for bass to hide. So what we're going to do is we're going to step back around the fence post so I can get a good angle, and bang, right out there ahead of that cropping. I'm going to just slowly bring this Kraken craw through that break line. It's like Howard Cosell play by play, as if something's really going to happen. We'll just repeat in different locations. Howard Cosell was a sportscaster, ancient one, so I'm repeating the same scenario, but on this side, right in here, just about 4 feet out in front of that. Slowly hopping that crawl. I did see some activity in this area right before I did the cast. I believe it was a gar. Oh man, we had a perch bite right there. Always good to make sure you're still text posed after you get a perch bite. Something little grabbed my craws and unposed me. Making up words this morning. Had another little bite right there. That felt like a gar. Could have been a gar, probably was, but maybe not. There are a lot of gar right now feeding in this area. Gotcha. Oh, what did I get? Yes. Yeah. We could almost play one and go. After you catch one fish, you can go to the next spot. Just a little dink, little green trout. It's good to focus on ambush points early in the morning. That sun is just now to come up, except it's pretty cloudy over there where it's trying to come up at. Same place it came up yesterday. Always waiting for it to come up in a different place, but it hasn't quite yet. So Sometimes when I go to a different place, it comes up in a different place. did you smoke this? Oh, almost. That was actually the second fish I've caught with that bait. The first one was the last fish in my spillway video last week. Ambush points aren't always points. Sometimes they can be along on the bank where there's vegetation or other structure like these rocks, and sometimes you can have ambush points that you can't identify because they're hidden under the water. Ooh, did you see that right there? I think that was either a turtle or a gar or something. Bit shallow where we're at right now, where the bait is, but there is stuff feeding. Bass don't have to be just sitting somewhere waiting right now. They could be actively patrolling, because there's a lot of fish that... Oh! Oh! Ah! There's a lot of fish that are patrolling right now. Oh, I'm glad I decided to fish early on this track instead of going deep with the bike down the road. We about got a smoked bait here. It's almost too tore up, but it is worthy of another one. Just a little further out this time in front of where we just were. Hopefully there's more. Maybe even the one that just flew up in the air and spit me, but I doubt. He's probably long gone. Oh, something feels weird. Oh yeah, it felt weird, all right. Are you the one? Are you the spitter? Are you the spitter? Woo, look at the color of this spitter. I don't know if he's the one that spat, but he tried to spat, he tried to spit, he just couldn't get it. Because I got you, I got your butt, is what I got. Woo, yeah. Super dark this morning. Both of them. Wow. Wasn't supposed to happen like that. Woo, not at all. That was not the plan. But let me show you. We got us a smoked bait now. Woo, unless he I'm sorry. As long, man, I swear I've had 2 cups of coffee, but I can't get the words out quite right. It jumbled. But yeah, at least he didn't spit the whole bait to the side and give us a bare hook. You know, I always feel bad when a bait goes in the water that I can't retrieve. I like just getting them back. If they're trash, I'll trash them. So this is trash. It's all tore up here at the top. We can switch to the new baits. We're not only going to switch to the new baits, we're going to switch to a new hook too, because it's going to be required. All right, so there's one. Don't worry, you're going to get the close-up and personal shot here. We got 2 colors to work with. I wish I would have had 3, but I forgot to get the watermelon red. So what we got here are RSB worms for Bass Assassin. Now, the other day when I was out in the spillway with Alex had a speed worm like this, because this is pretty much what this is. It's a speed worm. Alex had a different brand that I'd never heard of and can't remember. I went to B&B Tackle, and this is what they had. This is like in between a speed worm, the ultra vibe looking tail right there, and a stick bait. Looks like a Cinco, right? Now, it's probably not gonna do anything original to what the Cinco does, the Yamamoto, but it is a stick bait. That's what a Cinco is. A Cinco is a stick bait. However, it's the original. This probably is not got the same amount of salt in it. I've not fished this before, but this is a speed worm on steroids, huh? Yeah, you're right. So we were using a 3/0 hook. We're gonna go with the green pumpkin because it's closer to the watermelon red that we were just working with, doing really good, than the June bug. B&B tackle doesn't open till 9, and like I said, it's early right now, so we're gonna put that on a 5/0 Gamakatsu offset hook. Clip my line. There's my 3/0. Put that there for later. So let's talk about this real quick. The main line is 20-pound braid because I'm in Southeast Louisiana. That's typical for me down here. Now when I get somewhere else, I might go a little lighter, 10-pound, but I keep it to 20-pound because there's days where I start bass fishing and then next thing you know, I'm red fishing, or I'm in a place where I could get bass and reds on every cast. So 20-pound is my main line. But however, I've got a fluorocarbon leader double unit on, and this fluorocarbon leader is 10-pound. Sometimes I'm using 8-pound, but today we're doing the 10-pound fluorocarbon deal. Seaguard, if you're interested, that is one of the fluorocarbons that I use, mostly Seaguard. There's another one that I use when we talk about like 40 and 50-pound fluorocarbon, but from 20 down to 6-pound tests, it's usually Seaguard, the red label, that I use. If you don't know, maybe you should. B&B Tackle is in Belle Chasse, Louisiana. That's where I'm at right now. Almost there. I like to hook my speed worms like this. What we're gonna do is we got the curve of the tail facing down, and we want the hook on that side. So we're gonna turn it over, and you see they got this line, this seam, which is cool. It gives you something to follow. We don't want to bury the hook in there, so we just want to barely. Ooh, this is a nice hard soft plastic, about like that. You see that right there? Like I said, barely, but you want to just enough to where the eye of the hook is going to stick out. I find that a lot of times if you get it to where the eye of the hook is hidden and you get a good fish, it'll smoke that, it'll tear that with the first hit, even if you miss the fish, because the line will cut right through that bait. And then, you know, you got to put on a new bait, and it's not like every bait is as cheap as like Yums or something. So what we want to do is we want to make sure we get this straight. We want to, this is a really hard plastic. You want to kind of bend it like that to where you have a bit of slack, and there's a reason for that. Wow, this is a really tough plastic. I didn't get it straight. There we go, got it straight. See, having that slack in there, once you get it on, you got a little bit of play here. It makes it easier to text pose. You can just pull up and boom, your text pose. You ain't gonna snag. And we got that just right. It'll give a lot of action in the water. Yeah, I'm fishing this weightless because look how big it is, bro. Totally, you could do that. It's got a good weight to it. If I wanted to add weight to it, right now I wouldn't go very big. I'd put a 1/16 ounce on it because of its own weight. If you put too much at a shallow place like this ain't the world's deepest bayou. Yeah, you don't need much weight. 1/16 ounce bullet weight for this place. It's all about how deep your water is, what size weight you put on. If you're curious as to why I'm using a 5/0 hook for this bait, it's because of the size of the bait. And yeah, green pumpkin's not something you see me throw down here very often, but lately I have been, because a lot of places the water clarity has been good enough for it, and that's been the color that's been working. Watermelon red and green pumpkin, not so much your like black and blues or June bugs. We'll just do a few casts here and then move locations, go further down the bayou. Let's see how this cast, that is a lot of weight. Yeah, you're right. To fish this, just like a Cinco or the craw, I'm gonna let it sink, pick it up like that, a couple jerks or one good jerk, let it sink. You can also, as you see, I'm fishing it kind of with the rod tip up and a slack line. You can also do this, kind of whip that slack line a little bit, and that kind of picks it up and shakes it. You're not taking it up too high off the bottom. You just kind of whip it, that slack line, and then just kind of makes it flutter on the bottom. Let's see how far I can get this. Can I cast all the way to the other side? Can I get up into that inlet right there? Whoa, almost inside there, but right up to that point. I know you guys are probably not going to see this, but right in here there's a bit of clarity to the water, and I'm trying to see what this bait does when I twitch it. It looks like when I do that, when I whip the slack line, the whole thing twitches, and there's a bit of tight vibration to that tail. Yeah, the tail twitches when I do that. Okay, that's good, that's awesome. Let's go. Green pumpkin gave me absolutely no bites. Let's see if the June bug does any better. Oh, I had, whoa, first hit. I don't know, something picked up on the tail. Maybe a little gar. Yeah, bit the tail right off too. That is a good time spent with both colors of that bait. And the only bite that I received was that little gar grabbing the tail and decimating it, making it a worthless bait all of a sudden. Nice action. Seems like a decent bait, but not getting any love out here. Maybe it's the color, maybe it's the huge profile. We're gonna go back to what we were catching on earlier. Looks like this might be my last watermelon red Kraken craw. We're gonna keep it on that 5/0. Fish it weightless, even though the wind is starting to pick up, but it's not bad yet. Gotcha. Yes. Ah, I was off guard, caught off guard there. Oh. Gotcha, finally. Yes. Well, that's a nice looking dink. Smoked my bait. Little guy. Little tiny guy. Look at that. You need to go home. Not even a pound. All right.
Good morning, sir.
Yep. It's been good, kind of. Here we go. Oh, I don't see a watermelon red. I guess Chico Red is the closest thing. Maybe they do make a watermelon red, but it's just not here. Let's see, this is what Chico Red looks like. And I think we will leave that here. Turtles. All right, I got some fresh Kraken craw watermelon red baits, and I'm out here. It's a little late. It's around 10 a.m. now, and something doesn't look right. Fish are feeding, but stuff is trucking. It's not like the wind has changed. It's still coming out of the south, but you see that bit of hyacinth right there trucking down? They must be pumping like they're expecting rain or something. Yeah, there's current all of a sudden. So yeah, this is where we started the video. Oops. Whoa! Right, man. What do you know? Oh, look at you. Look at you. That was not the world's finest cast either. I was like, oh man, I messed up. About put that bait in the tree. There we go. Ooh, ooh, what's going on there? Yeah, you're right. Sometimes you make a change and you realize you made a mistake. Should have just kept with the crawl bait and maybe stayed here, because this is where all the action was. Let's see if we can get a more graceful release than earlier this morning. Oh yeah, that was much better. Wow. I was about to say, at least he didn't smoke my bait, but wow, smoked the claw. Look at that, guys. Just chilling right there. We're at the end of the road. Look at him. That's kryptonite for Craig. Man, that's a good size one too, nice and long. That towel has not been thrown anywhere, not yet. That wind is throwing some stuff though.
Say hello, dude.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, man.
Now I'm ready to throw in the towel. It is noon. Don't feel like fishing for the southern noon bite. I think those big RSB worms would work somewhere else, but maybe they're just too big of a profile, and maybe watermelon red, if they made that, would have worked better today. But thanks for watching, liking, sharing, and subscribing. I will see you next time.